It was in November last year when the Women's Reproductive Health Information Act of 2012 was signed into public law. The measure mandated no abortion be performed or induced without the voluntary and informed consent of a woman upon whom the abortion is to be performed except in the case of medical emergencies.
Well, informed consent actually puts pictures of fetal development in front of the person seeking the abortion.
The measure was only passed last year, but it was actually introduced years before, back when Governor Eddie Calvo was first inaugurated into office. And while getting the bill signed was a major step forward, the law has yet to be fully implemented. Senator Dennis Rodriguez Jr. explains.
There was a section in the law that required the Department of Public Health to go through the administrative process, the AAA, to get the materials that are presented to a woman prior to having an abortion. However, we're in receipt of a letter from dated earlier this year from the Attorney General's office, indicating that these materials are not and cannot be defined as a rule or regulation. And so with that, we had moved forward and amend the law so that we can finally get this informed consent implemented.
The Committee on Health Care says Bill 193, introduced just yesterday, does just that. And for pro-lifers like the Esperanza Project's Tim Rohr, he says Bill 193 is legislation he can support and hopes swift action is taken. In fact, the Esperanza Project has since reached out to senators on their support, in which Rohr says 7 senators have responded with written commitments. He further states informed consent laws are gateway legislations.
We can't overturn Roe versus Wade, but the Supreme Court has opened up a way for a pro-life legislation to be implemented that can provide certain protections.
And while the Department of Public Health is tasked with providing the information pamphlets, Rohr says the Esperanza Project is willing and has already prepared booklets to be distributed if need be.
This booklet will actually put a phone number in a person's hands that will give her an alternative to abortion.
We should add that Governor Eddie Calvo, in his transmittal letter to the legislature last year, had indicated concerns over the provision added by lawmakers regarding the rulemaking process of the Administrative Adjudication Act that was not in the original bill. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Ken Quintaniza.